Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel, and today we're going to play Brennan's Reel. Brennan's Reel was a request for Mikkel, one of my supporters on Patreon. I'm going to give you two versions of this. The original version, which most widely played in the key of D, and I've taken this from the playing of Mairead Nuini from Altan. And I'm also going to show you Martin Hayes' version in the key of B flat. And we're going to look to some extent at the contrast between the two. So we'll start off with the D version. I'll just go through the A section slowly. 3, 4. Okay, a couple of things about this. We've got a nice roll on the second bar. I've done a video about rolls. Basically, you start on the melody note, and it's like a turn in classical music. You go up, down, and up again. And you try and get as much of the action in right at the end of the note. And in this case, I'm slurring it into the previous note, like that. So, and in the very first bar, I'm slurring the first two notes in order to get a strong first and third beat. If you listen to the first bar, it seems to me that do, boo, boo, da, those are the two strong notes that you want. So I'm going to try and make the bowing help to accent that. As opposed to maybe all separate bows, where it really doesn't stand out. I did a whole video on bowing in Irish fiddle music, and you might find that useful. There is never a correct way to play, there's always alternatives, and the more you know about it, the more you can choose between those alternatives. Okay, into the B section. Now, the first three lines could be quite repetitive, but there are slight variations. So the first line of this lot, second time it happens, and the third time. So I suspect that these are variations that Mairead either came up with on the spot or had learnt, or maybe the variations I've got in there kind of permanently. But either way, you could play all three the same if you want to, but it's a lot more interesting if you do these little variations. And there's a couple of triplets here and there. Second line, and in fact the same in the last line, that same thing. And that's a variation. It could be like that if you wanted. But the more you can put these little variations in, the more interesting it's going to be. Okay, let's do all of that with the backing. Okay, now on to the Martin Haigh version. So this is in the key of B flat. So even from the first note, you can feel that has such a different resonance to... It's a whole different feel about it. And Martin Haigh has done this several times that I'm aware of, where he takes a standard tune and changes the key in order to get this different and often darker tone to it. So you're going to get a lot less open strings ringing, and therefore a kind of a cleaner sound. So that's the A section, and notice bar 3. We have the syncopation, which is a feature of the whole of this tune, and it's a feature of Martin Haig's playing, which some people absolutely hate, because until he came along it was definitely not traditional to do this, and he was being expressive, and a lot of people don't approve of that, but I do. So if you're not familiar with the B flat scale, I think that's all of it you need. The B flat note itself is next to the first finger next to the note, first finger again next to the note. Okay, let's go through the A again, then we'll go into the B section. Another feature of Martin Haig's recording is that he uses 2 fiddles, and there's a kind of a counterpoint going on towards the end with what is possibly improvisation on the other voice, which is very interesting. But I just want to talk a little bit more about the key. You may or may not have seen my video called "The Key is the Key," where I go into some depth as to what is the difference and the reason for different keys sounding different. We've already mentioned the fact that the opening note is actually physically lower, so that is obviously a difference. The ornamentation will always change as you change key, because certain fingers lend themselves to certain ornaments, and as the key changes, so do the ornaments. Also, your muscle memory is different for each key, so some keys will sound more comfortable because they are more comfortable because you're more used to playing in that key. I'm just going to play A section in B flat and then the A section in D, and just listen to the difference. So you can hear there's a really different feel to those two, and I like to think of it as, to quote a certain phrase, out of the wind and into the sun. Brennan's reel in Martin Haig's version is dark, and the Altan version is light and bright and sunny. And I think I tend to prefer bright and sunny, but not all the time. So sometimes you do want that contrast, that deeper kind of feel, and that's what you get from Martin Haig's version. So I do suggest that you try this in both keys and just kind of develop the feeling for those two. Anyway, if you'd like a copy of the sheet music for both versions, do subscribe to the channel, send me an email, and I will send those to you. And you can get all of my PDFs in one go if you join me on Patreon, and it's the Patreon that keeps these videos coming. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon.